Hey guys, just a quick update on my work in process. This is my VK 3002D. The 3002D, is just a recap, was a competitor by Daimler-Benz to the Panther design, and after the Germans encountered the T-34, they kind of went into panic mode and decided we got to have some better tanks. I mean, these T-34s and KV-1s are just kicking our butt. And they were. So both Daimler-Benz and MAN had submitted designs for a replacement or a new main battle tank for the Germans. And the Daimler-Benz, the VK 3002, was really a lot more similar to a T-34. The turret was small, the hull, the turret went right up to the front of the hull. There wasn't any overhang with hatches, etc. for the driver and gunner. Those are on the sides. It still had, like, pistol ports, but so did the Panther at the time. The rear engine was also a rear sprocketed drive of the treads, so that it was a lot like the T-34. It was a lot less vulnerable to track damage in the front by any tank shells, etc. But anyway, this is my latest effort to weather this thing, and I've really made it a grimy, battle-worn veteran, as if the Germans had adopted this design in 1942 instead of the Panther. A lot of people believe that maybe if they did, things would have been a little bit better for them, because they wouldn't have had all the problems that the Panther was subject to. Although Daimler-Benz, as good a company as they were, they could have had problems too, so there's no guarantee there. But anyway, I've pretty much done as much weathering on this thing as it can possibly stand, and the next step will be to do some streaking. I'm going to do some rust streaking, if you can believe it, and then I'll probably flat coat it and put an aerial on it here. I think that's about it. It should be ready for amps. Now the main thing will be to make a base for it. I don't know if I'll do a diorama or a vignette, or just a flat base, just to show off the model itself. I think I probably should do a vignette or a diorama, because this thing's going to need some help, especially in a competition like amps, where you got the best people in the world coming to show you their armor stuff, and I haven't done anything in 15 years. So it was a lot smaller contest back 15 years ago. So anyway, one of these days I'm going to build a real wartime Panzer, like a Panther III or a Panther IV, probably a Panther III first, a Stug, or a Tiger I. I've certainly got enough kits of them in the stash to do, so they appeal to me a lot too, but there's something about the paper ones that kind of give me a bit of excitement. I don't know what it is. So that is it for the VK. Let me just put that on the shelf and I'll quickly get something else. The Leopard 1 by Heller is just about ready for its base coat of color. Don't ignore these airplane parts. These are the road wheels, and now I did the what do you call it? The primer. I used VK primer, and it doesn't take to these plastic parts by Heller at all. I don't know if it's Heller or if it's just a primer. It doesn't bite into the plastic. It doesn't do anything a real primer is supposed to do. But then again, it isn't going to kill me with all the fumes I'll ingest too. So, and then the tank came out a little better. I don't have any gross beading or coverage problems like I did with some of the road wheels. The only thing left to do really is to deal with the tracks. And the tracks on this are just one-piece vinyl, shiny vinyl, crude looking things that have rubber cleats on them. So I'll just have to paint them somehow and get them, once I get the road wheels on here and get some paint on it, then that'll be done. I think I explained to you that I really wasn't expecting a lot out of this, and it isn't too bad really. It's a good outline of a Leopard 1, vintage 1967. So it's one of my, if not the only post-war German armor subject that I really like. And then the latest project is a Panther II. Now, according to what I've read, the only Panther II hull that's still in existence is one that's at Aberdeen that they stuck a Panther G turret on and brought it back to the United States. The small term, in our infinite wisdom and respect for history, was used as a target at the proving grounds. So they just blew them to bits. There's nothing hardly left at all except some Swiss cheese, stainless or Swiss cheese steel plate. This thing, the Panther II, ultimately was going to be equipped with a 88mm gun too in the small term. Now that is a pretty smoking hot piece as far as I'm concerned. This thing would take no crap from anything on the battlefield. It had thicker armor than the regular Panther, not grossly so, but especially on the turret. I mean, this is pretty massive. And then with the 88mm gun, this is the long barrel gun too. This thing would just cut through Allied armor like a laser, especially Sherman's. I hate Sherman's. They are nothing but cannon fodder for the 88. Anyway, would have been pretty devastating to the Soviets too, with their JS2s at the time. Maybe even JS3s would have taken a beating from this, because the German armor was just vastly superior to the Soviet armor, not just in hitting power and armor, but in the optics and the situational awareness of the crew with all their periscopes and even in some cases night fighting devices. So anyway, so that's about it right now for the status of my armor. Let's turn this around here. Hey guys. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll be showing you more when I get more done. Again, I really cannot stand this Vallejo primer or this VK primer. I thought the VK would be slightly better than the Vallejo, but it's just as bad. The only thing it doesn't do, it doesn't clog your airbrush as much as the Vallejo does. But I think I'm probably going to have to resort to painting outside or whatever as far as getting a primer down. I'll either use spray can primer or blow it through my airbrush and just have to do an extensive cleanup. I've got the ability to do that in my garage and everything, but I'm just waiting for the weather to get a little better. That's it for now, guys. See ya.